you prevent heartbreak from becoming something that feels impossible to cure. Because the words that seemed so simple at first now feel like the key to holding love together. Think about it. How many times do we wait until things are almost broken before we try to fix them? Why do we only value closeness when it's slipping away? That's when the advice hit me. Love doesn't need a rescue mission. It needs daily care. Just like you don't wait until you collapse to drink water, you shouldn't wait until love is dying to give it attention. And here's the part that gave me chills. He said, the body can survive without many things, but the heart cannot survive without connection. That one line keeps repeating in my mind. It makes me wonder how many people lose love, not because they didn't feel it, but because they didn't nourish it. How many of us forget that even the strongest heart can weaken if it's left unattended for too long? Now I finally see, love isn't about constant perfection. It's about consistent care. Just like health, you don't need huge miracles every day. You just need steady effort. The doctor leaned closer and said, most people think love ends suddenly, but it doesn't. It fades slowly, like health that's ignored. That shook me because I realized he was right. People don't usually wake up one day and stop caring. It happens over time when small wounds are never healed, when unspoken words pile up, when tiny acts of care are forgotten. Think about it. How often do we stay silent when we should speak? How often do we roll over in bed angry instead of reaching out and saying, I'm still here for you? Those little moments, those missed chances, become cracks that widen over time, until one day, the bond feels weaker than we ever imagined. The doctor compared it to breathing. He said, you don't notice your breath when it's steady, but the moment it struggles, you panic. Love works the same way. When it flows easily, we take it for granted, but the moment it feels restricted, suddenly we realize how fragile it really is. And then he added something that's been echoing in my head. Prevention in love is just as important as prevention in medicine. Meaning you don't wait for a heart attack to start caring about your body. So why wait for heartbreak to start caring about your partner? That line pulled me back to memories of times I thought love was safe, unshakable, untouchable. I didn't notice the signs of exhaustion, the sighs, the quiet withdrawal, because I assumed love was strong enough on its own. But now I see what he meant. Love is living, breathing, delicate. It needs daily oxygen. Imagine this. If you had only 24 hours to prove your love mattered, what would you do differently? Would you still stay quiet when your heart wanted to speak? Would you still let pride win over closeness? Or would you finally reach out and remind that person you still choose them? The doctor's words weren't complicated. They were simple, too simple for me to fully value back then. But today they feel like the most urgent prescription I've ever been given. The doctor paused for a moment and then said something I'll never forget. Love doesn't fail because people stop feeling. It fails because people stop practicing. That one word, practicing, hit me harder than anything else. Think about it. We practice everything else in life, sports, music, even our jobs. But how often do we practice love? Not just saying I love you, but practicing patience, kindness, forgiveness, practicing the art of listening, practicing the courage to be honest, even when it's uncomfortable. What if love isn't about finding the perfect person, but about practicing with the one you choose every single day? That changes everything, doesn't it? The doctor leaned back and explained. Couples think they grow apart because they're different, but really they stop practicing connection. And I realized connection doesn't stay alive on its own. It needs deliberate action. Just like muscles grow with exercise, Love grows with effort. And here's the shocking part. He said, the strongest relationships are not the ones without conflict, but the ones that practice repairing after conflict. That stopped me cold, because for so long, I thought arguments meant weakness, but maybe they actually mean opportunity. Imagine if every fight wasn't a wall between you, but a door to deeper understanding, a door to reminding each other why you matter. How different would love look then? The doctor gave an example that stuck. If your body feels pain, you don't ignore it. You treat it, but in love, when we feel pain, we often bury it. That silence, that hiding, it only makes the wound grow larger. And one day it becomes too big to heal, unless you treat it early. So, he told me, don't just wait for love to be easy. Practice it when it's hard. And that's when it finally clicked. The advice wasn't about some fairy tale. It was about choosing again and again, even when it's difficult. The doctor leaned closer, his voice steady but almost soft. Most people think love is a feeling, but in truth, it's a choice you renew daily. That line sat with me. I couldn't stop replaying it in my head, because if love was only a feeling, it could fade whenever life got tough. But if it was a choice, it meant power rested in our hands, not in chance. You've probably heard someone say, I don't feel the same anymore. But what if feelings were never meant to stay the same? What if they were meant to evolve, grow, deepen? Just like seasons change, the way you love can change too. And maybe that's not the end. It's actually proof that it's alive, the doctor explained. The mistake people make is expecting love to always look like the beginning. But the truth is, beginnings are meant to be short-lived. They ignite the fire, but what keeps it burning is what you do after the sparks fade. Here's something that shocked me. He said, when people say we drifted apart, what they really mean is we stopped showing up for each other in small ways. It's not the grand gestures that break or build a bond. It's the quiet, everyday choices. Saying thank you, noticing effort, choosing not to go to bed angry. Think about it. When was the last time you looked at someone you love and asked, how are you really feeling today? Those words may seem small, but they carry the weight of care, attention, and safety. And safety is what love truly needs to survive. The doctor compared it to health. If you only drink water once, you'll stay thirsty. If you only breathe once, you'll suffocate. Love is no different. It requires constant renewal. That comparison floored me. It made me realize I had treated love like a one-time achievement instead of a daily practice. And then, he told me something that nearly broke me. The saddest thing I see are people who realize too late that love could have lasted if only they tried a little harder. That statement felt like a warning, like he wasn't just telling me a truth, he was asking me to carry it with me. Imagine standing years from now looking back, wondering if you lost something irreplaceable, simply because you thought it would always be there. That thought is terrifying. And maybe that's why the doctor's advice finally made sense. It wasn't just about love, it was about responsibility. The doctor leaned back for a moment, as if to measure the weight of his words, then said something that made me sit still. The heart is like a muscle. If you don't exercise it, it weakens. At first I thought he was being poetic, but no, he meant it literally. The heart craves connection, communication, acts of care. Without them, love slowly loses its strength, not because it wasn't real, but because it wasn't nourished. How many times have we assumed love would take care of itself? How many times have we believed, if it's meant to be, it will be? The doctor shook his head at that idea. No, what's meant to be will still require effort. If you plant a tree in good soil, it's meant to grow, but only if you water it. That truth was like a slap. It shattered the illusions I'd carried for years. He continued, most couples don't fall apart because of one big event. They fall apart because of tiny neglects that pile up. Think about that. Tiny neglects, forgetting to listen, dismissing a worry, failing to say, I love you when it's most needed. Each act alone seems harmless, but together they drain the bond dry. Imagine standing across from someone you love. They don't walk away because they stopped loving you. They walk away because they stopped feeling loved by you. That distinction matters because it means the love itself may still be there, but it died waiting for care. The doctor leaned forward again, his eyes steady. Love isn't tested when everything is easy. It's tested when your patience is thin, when your pride is hurt, when silence feels safer than honesty. Those are the moments that decide the future of a relationship. That struck me deeply, because how often do we choose silence? How often do we let our pride win over our tenderness? He asked me, do you know why so many regrets come at the end of life? I shook my head. He said, because people realize they valued being right more than being close. That line hit like thunder. How many times had I done exactly that? Protected my ego at the cost of connection. The conversation grew heavier. Your job is not to avoid conflict. Your job is to handle it with love. Disagreements don't destroy relationships. Disrespect does. That distinction was life-changing. It made me realize love isn't about never fighting. It's about fighting in a way that protects the bond. And then he shared a story of his own, about a patient who came to him crying, saying she wished she had said one more kind word to her partner before he passed away. Just one. She had a lifetime of memories, but it was that one missing moment that haunted her. Think about it. What if the word you withhold today becomes the regret you carry tomorrow? He looked at me almost sternly now. Every time you speak, you build a bridge, or you break one. Which will it be? That question wasn't just for me. It was for anyone who has ever loved deeply and struggled to show it. And maybe that's why. Finally, his advice made sense, because it wasn't about romance alone. It was about life, choices, and the legacy of love we leave behind. The doctor paused for a long moment, as if giving me space to breathe in everything he had just said. And then he asked me something I'll never forget. If today were your last day with the one you love, what would you regret not saying? That question shook me, because instantly memories flashed through my mind. All the times I stayed quiet when I should have spoken. All the moments I let pride seal my lips when love was begging me to speak. And I realized silence has a way of becoming heavier than any spoken word. What about you? Imagine if tonight was your last chance to look at someone you love. Would your silence protect you or haunt you? That thought is terrifying, because we never think the goodbye will come so soon, yet it always feels too soon when it finally does. The doctor leaned closer, his voice low, almost like he was sharing a secret. Love demands courage, and courage means risking your pride, risking your comfort, to speak from the heart. And then he added, if you don't risk anything, you risk everything. That line was like a blade. It cut through every excuse I had made in the past, because wasn't that the truth? I thought I was protecting myself by holding back, but in reality, I was only pushing love further away. He gave me another example. I've seen people who lived together for decades, but still carried hidden walls between them. They believed time would fix everything. But time doesn't fix. Time exposes. That hit me like lightning. Because it's true, time reveals the cracks you refuse to repair. Ask yourself this. Are there things you're not saying right now because you assume you'll get another chance? What if that chance never comes? Would the love you carry in your chest remain forever unspoken. The doctor's tone softened then, almost like he wanted to leave me with hope. Not just fear. It's not too late. It rarely ever is. The moment you choose honesty, the moment you choose love over pride, you change the direction of your story. And for the first time that day, I felt something shift inside me. A clarity, as if all the weight I had carried about misunderstandings, mistakes, and missed opportunities could still be lifted if only I dared to take that step. Because here's the truth. No one tells you. Love doesn't demand perfection. It demands presence. It demands the willingness to stand there, raw and real, even when it's uncomfortable. The doctor's final words lingered in my mind, like an echo. Don't wait until love is slipping away to finally show it. Don't wait until the person is gone to finally say it. Love delayed is often love denied.